Well, good things come to those who wait. That's the old saying which Honda truly believes. Why? Because their last manufacturer was bringing in a mid-size SUV into the Indian market, and it's not any SUV, is the Honda Elevate, which has a lot of best in class or best in segment things. For example, you get the best in segment ground clearance, you get 222 millimeters of ground clearance. You also get one of the best boots with 458 liters, and Honda also claims that this car has the best backseat experience in this segment. So, are all these claims correct, and is this car really the one to go for? We'll find that out in the video today. We'll start this video by talking about the backseat first, because a lot of you are going to buy this car just for the backseat experience inside the car. Hi, name is Ashish Masih. If you've come to this channel for the first time, please like, share and subscribe. Well, today I'm in the back seat of the Honda Elevate, and as soon as you get inside the back seat, you'll immediately be reminded of the Honda City, because just like the Honda City, the backrest angle is absolutely spot on. The seat comfort is absolutely spot on. These seats are extremely good in terms of comfort. You'll just feel very luxurious and opulent inside the cabin. Nice and large windows, which means that you feel nice and airy inside the cabin. It feels like a bright cabin, and of course the doors also, they open up nice and wide, and it's also very big aperture. The door is really big on the back, so getting in and out of this car should not be an issue in the least. So I think what Honda says, that this is the best back seat, they really are very true to their claim, because this is the best back seat in this segment, that's for sure. You get loads of room as well. I've adjusted the front seat for a driver whose height is about 5'7", 5'8", and of course my height for reference is 5'10". So if it's the same with you, if your shopper is about 5'8" or 5'10", and your height is roughly about 5'10", 5'11", maybe even 6, you'll be very happy. Headroom is also good. Room is more than sufficient, and as I said, the seat comfort truly is exemplary. Although it's not perfect, because at the back I think Honda should have given you USB charging points. They've given you a 12-volt charging socket, but I think they should have given you USB Type C or the old school one. So that's one area where they've missed a trick. And of course there's still no middle row headrest, or middle person headrest rather. So that's something also that they should have given. Other than that, fantastic place to be. I'll give the backseat experience of this car a very strong score of 9 out of 10. Well, so before I show you the boot of the car, let me just show you the back end, because the back end is one of my favorite parts about this car. I really like the way this car looks from the back, especially this huge beam of light. I think it looks very elegant. And apart from that, you also get this Ivy Tech badge, because this car has that legendary Ivy Tech technology, and of course the Elevate badge is on this side. So it's a very simplistic design, very minimalistic, but it looks really nice, very classy, understated but very classy, just like the rest of the car. Now let's show you the boot, the big 450-liter boot. Now once you see this boot, you'll realize that it's a nice and deep boot, pretty big in terms of the aperture, in terms of the width. There's a bit of a loading sill, so you will have to just put a little effort when you heave in those bags. It's not completely flat, but once you put them in, I think it's a huge boot, 450 liters, to accommodate at least one full month of your trip to the hills. If you are planning to go to the hills for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month, you need 3 big suitcases in this car, which easily accommodate them. In case your mother-in-law is coming, or maybe your Masi is coming from Canada and she's getting you a lot of gifts, then definitely this car will be able to accommodate the entire luggage without any fuss whatsoever. 10 out of 10 to the boot of the Honda Elevate. I'm sure by now all of you are aware that Woodmore are the online expert when it comes to spare parts, and the best point is that they have the spare parts for all vehicles available in India. So even if your car is out of production now, maybe you have a large generation model, even then they have the spare part available. They have the entire catalog, and the best point is that they have the same spare part from a host of different component makers, which gives you great flexibility in the pricing overall. So check them out today. Check out the app. It's available both for iOS as well as Android devices, and also check out the website for the latest schemes as well as offers. Well, as soon as you step inside the cabin of the Honda Elevate, you'll get a sense of deja vu, and that's because the digital dials as well as steering wheel and some of the stocks and controls are exactly the same ones as you find on the City. So there's a sense of deja vu. That's a good thing, because the dials on the City are very good in terms of the way they look, the information that they offer, and of course you get this new 10.25 inch touchscreen over here, which works quite nicely, I have to say. It's got good visibility in terms of the usage, and it's also quite nice to navigate through the menus and sub-menus. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, as well as the Honda Connect app is available. And of course, with the Honda Connect app, you can do a lot of stuff, like you can see where your car is, you can turn it up, you can turn the AC on and stuff like that. So it's a very useful app. This car also has ADAS features, which Honda calls Honda Sensing. So of course you get adaptive cruise control, you get lane departure mitigation, lane keep assist, blind spot assist, and stuff like that. So it really is very well loaded in terms of safety kit. ESP is also there, and of course the obligatory features like automatic headlamps is also available on this car. Now, how is the seat comfort? I have to say the seats just in this car as good as the Honda City, which really is the benchmark in terms of seat comfort. Very cushiony seats, no hardness about themselves, and also no hard plastics around. Yes, of course, the lower part of the center console is a little scratchy, but the top part where your line of sight is and where you're always using and fiddling around with the controls, these parts, they absolutely are very nice to operate. All these buttons, the switches, everything feels very good. And you also of course get large windows and of course big and chunky rear mirrors to give you a good view. Now this car doesn't get electrically adjusted seats, but that's quite okay because the steering wheel adjusts both for rake as well as for reach. So it's very easy to find a nice and comfortable driving position. And what's also good about it is that practicality wise, it's very good. You get big trays over here where you can keep those beverages, one place here where you can of course keep your phone for wireless charging, big door bins to keep those bottles, and of course this box over here where you can keep a lot of paraphernalia, and you also get a decent size glove box. Well, a couple of things that maybe Honda could have also added is that they could have given you a USB Type C. They've only given you the old school USB chargers, two of them, so they could have given you USB Type C. So that's one thing, and this USB and this 12 volt charging point is also quite useful. But I think they should have added at least one USB Type C. But other than that, it's a very good place to be. You get, of course, ADAS features, camera based, not radar based, but they do their job quite well without any fuss whatsoever. Quality is good, seat comfort really is very good. I think if you have ever sat inside the Honda City, you will believe me and say that that's the best car in terms of seat comfort, and this one also is just as good as the Honda City. Anyways, that's enough about the interiors of this car. Let's take it out for a drive and see how it is to drive now. Well, so now I'm driving the Honda City. No, I'm not driving the City, I'm driving the Elevate. But you will get a sense of deja vu when you drive this car because it gets the same 1.5 high VTEC petrol and makes the same kind of power output, 115 bhp as well as 144 Nm of torque. So it's pretty similar in terms of the power output. What's also very good about this car, of course, is the fact that it feels very responsive, very lively to drive, and the engine really is a gem of a unit. It really is a fantastic motor. It's great in terms of responsiveness. You get very good responses even at the lower end of the power band. It feels quite nice and lively, and of course you can stretch it all the way up to its red line of 6.5, 7,000 RPM. So it really is very good in that department. If you are someone who wants to buy a very sporty kind of mid-size SUV, then this is a great choice for you. And it's great not only because of the engine, it's also great because of the way it drives. Yes, the driving dynamics of this car are truly exceptional. The steering wheel offers you a good amount of feedback, and it's got the right amount of weight. It's neither too heavy and neither is it too firm that you start feeling tired. And as I said, it's not too light like you start feeling nervous on the highway. Overall, the suspension setup also is a very good mix of ride comfort as well as agility. And even though it's a nice and big car, it's got big dimensions, it never really feels it's girth when you're driving it in the city because it just wraps around the driver very nicely. Refinement levels are also very good when you're cruising out there on the highway like we are doing right now. And of course, if you decide to put it in 6th gear, because it has a 6-speed manual, if you decide to put it in 6th gear, let's say you're doing about 80 kph, the engine is spinning at around 2200 RPM, which makes the cabin a very quiet place. And also what aids that refinement and that cabin isolation is the fact that this car has a lot of sound deadening material used both on the flooring, under the flooring, as well as the bonnet. So that helps in the overall isolation of the cabin from all the elements on the outside. And that's a very good thing, and that's a very positive thing that you get on this car, especially for those of you who drive a lot on the highways and don't want the engine noise to filter into the cabin. How is the gearbox? Well, the 6-speed is a typical Honda unit, and I mean that in a nice way. Just like most Japanese units and just like most Japanese cars, it just slots into its gears without any fuss whatsoever. The clutch action is nice and tight, and the shift pattern is also very positive, very short throws, so you also get a sporty element over there, and it's a very nice gearbox. Sometimes you'll just be shifting gears for the heck of it. Yes, you'll just be shifting down from 5th to 6th on the highway, and maybe sometimes just back up to 6th, because you'll be enjoying the gear shift so much. So that's something which you'll look forward to every time you take this car out on a drive. Ride comfort is also very good, both in terms of slow city speeds as well as faster speeds on the highway. And I have to say that overall, I think that this is the best car in this segment in terms of overall ride comfort. Yes, it's definitely ahead of all its other rivals. It offers you a very good mix of stability, overall agility, as well as comfort, and it really does soak in the bumps very well. So that's another big positive about the Honda Elevate. Performance figures are quite good. Acceleration is brisk, and as I said, it's really a nice and nimble car to drive around town. What's also good is the overall visibility. If you're driving or you've learned to drive your car just now, this is your first ever car, you've graduated from college, got a good job, then you're planning to buy a big car, this is a good choice because you get the entire bonnet line view from here. The side view mirrors are nice and large, so you get a good view from them, and general visibility is good, of course. You also get the blind spot monitor, where there's a camera over there on the left side mirror, and of course you also get that bird's eye view. So it really is very good in terms of visibility. Driving wise, it's good, and just in general as a package, I think Honda has done a very good job with this car. I'll give it a strong score of 90 out of 100 in terms of the overall driving department, and I think Honda's engineering shines right through in terms of the driving. Well, so what's my big verdict with the Honda Elevate? Well, I think it's a very good car. You should definitely keep it at the top of your buying shortlist if you're in the market for a mid-size SUV. And of course, it's got a lot of strengths, including the best backseat experience, the best seats in terms of comfort, the best boots in terms of overall capacity, and of course, very good road presence as well. That's not all, it also offers you very engaging drive with the 1.5 iVTEC engine, which is already tested in terms of reliability, refinement, as well as fuel efficiency. And of course, if all that isn't enough, remember, it is a Honda, which means the resale values will be very strong when you sell it after 5, 6 or 7 years. So in short, this is definitely a car you should keep at the top of your buying shortlist. I'll give it a strong score of 92 out of 100.